My name is Briana Henry, and I am an actress. I had a daughter 2.5 years ago, so I spend a lot of my free time going to gardens with her, being outside. A lot of playgrounds are in my life at this time. I also love to cook. I cook a lot, and I was also an athlete before I became a mom, and even before I became an actress. So I work out a lot. I love to go on walks. I have a dog that I love to go on long walks with without my toddler. Yeah, those are the kinds of things that I really love to do. I'm also a producer, so my husband and I do some production. We just had a film this past year that was really fun to help him produce. Yeah, lots of arts and gardens. Excitement is definitely one of the things that is in that. It feels like a type of love that you cannot really comprehend until they hand you this baby that you made. It's a really thrilling experience. It's a really gratifying experience. It's a really hard experience. It requires a lot of your mind and your body and your time. It's sacrifice in a way that I've never experienced before. And it all feels really heightened because it's for this really important person that you brought here. Oh my gosh, yes. There is a lot of correlation between being an athlete and being a mom. I was a SoulCycle instructor for over 2 years, and there would be times that I would be teaching 3 classes in a day, and I've already taught 9 classes that week, and I had to get so good at self-encouragement and being a positive voice inside of my head to get through some of those classes. And I feel the exact same thing happens in the middle of a tantrum with my 2-year-old. Just, it's a really hard job. And just like when you're being an athlete, the way you talk to yourself is really important and is really reflected in the work that you put out. So I also would say that it's really exhausting on your body. I can't say that I thought being a mom would be as physically taxing because you go through this 9-month pregnancy that totally wreaks havoc on your body. It is not like the cute Pinterest pregnancies that you imagine it might be. It's a lot of change. And it's very similar with being an athlete. The more you take care of your body, the more your body's gonna work for you. So what brought me into HealthFit was I got diagnosed with sciatica during my pregnancy. I think that I actually had it prior to my pregnancy, but the weight gain that I experienced during pregnancy, I think exasperated it. I used to have some back pain when I was teaching at SoulCycle. Probably wasn't taking care of my body as well as I should have been, but I was also 20-something, and I'm 32 now. I had my daughter when I was 30. And so, I gained probably about 45 pounds during my pregnancy. I was on bed rest for 5 months. So it was a really gnarly transition, and I had never not used my body in an athletic way for that amount of period. So my body was just super unaligned. I was throwing out my back constantly with my daughter. And, with becoming a mom, there's a lot of leaning over, there's a lot of breastfeeding and picking up, and, you're not really thinking Alexander technique, let me lift from my knees. When you're picking up your, 1-year-old, you're just you're screaming, I need to pick you up. So I was in a lot of pain, and I called, and I actually had researched great PT studios, and HealthFit came up as one of them. And so I reached out to you guys, and from the second I called, everybody was really supportive, and they were I know the perfect person for you to be paired with, and that's when they paired me with Cheri. Yeah, I do think becoming a mom encouraged me to go get the help. I think it did in the sense that, when you become a parent or a mom, you kind of get consumed by the well-being of your baby. And in a way that you never really have to think about before. If I'm hungry, I eat. If I am tired, I take a nap. And when you have a kid, that's not the way life works anymore. And so I think that really in the first year of having my daughter, I totally neglected my body. And, I just wasn't taking care of it the way that I had been trained to and had previously before having her. And so I think when I started to notice that it was affecting the relationship I had with her, that I was in so much pain that I couldn't play with her in the way that I wanted to, I kind of sought out help for her and for myself. I think that being in so much pain before I started coming to HealthFit was definitely affecting my mental health. I have a history with depression already, and I will say when I had my daughter, it kind of evaporated. I feel like there's just so many like good feeling, oxytocin, serotonin, like just being pumped through your veins when you become a parent, which is why any woman ever does it. But I think that it felt really good to be investing time in myself, even if it was just an hour or two a week. And I think that it helped encourage other discipline and structure in taking care of myself because I had started doing it here first. It's also really nice to have someone that's holding you accountable in a way that you feel incapable of doing when you first become a mom. I definitely think maybe a bit of my agility I think I gained from starting to come to HealthFit. And also I think just like a glimmer of this idea that I could regain strength in my body and would just have to learn where my body was from a different place than I had ever before. That encouragement was really appreciated because I think I just kind of woke up and sometimes still do. And I'm just like, man, this is such a different body than I grew to love and become confident in. And that's, the kicker with having a baby sometimes is everybody's journey looks different. And no matter, whether you lost all your baby weight or not, like anatomically, there are just aspects of your body that are just going to be different. Oh, that's a great question. How do I juggle it all? I don't. I think it's about like having grace. Sometimes I'm really good at doing other things and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm able to meal prep for the week and sometimes I can't. It just really, really depends. And, with acting, it's partly why I had to kind of put that part of my life on pause because, unless you're creating content for yourself, it's really challenging to, the industry is kind of unforgiving to performers and actors and, they're not necessarily welcoming our 1-year-olds on set. So if you want to kind of be the present parent that you desired for yourself and you have the privilege to do so, it feels really good right now to kind of be in a place where my main focus is mothering. But it's been exciting to kind of put my feet back into creative endeavors as well lately. So my experience working with Dr. Cheri, truthfully, she's just a lovely person, like aside from her skill level. She made me feel very comfortable, I often feel like I'm talking to like my friend that just so happens to make my body feel way better after an hour of hanging out. And, I think that the encouragement she provided me to start believing in myself again and being patient with myself more than anything was really crucial for me. And I also just felt like she always meets me where I am, which is really important in this new phase of being a mom because sometimes I don't get to do all of the exercises I was supposed to do, and she can tell. And she'll find a way to be like, okay, well, really, if you hit these 3, like, that's the most important thing for you to hit. And she just made it in these bite-sized ways that I could actually digest and take home and really apply. Because I think it would have been really overwhelming if it was just like, why aren't you doing the work, And I really appreciated that about her. I think my biggest takeaway working with Dr. Cheri has probably been like consistency. That it feels like the moments where I am most consistent with the workouts that she gives me, or even just the conscientiousness that she brings to like aspects of my body, really serve me. And the times that I'm not as consistent, I notice my back starts to hurt again, or, my hip's doing this weird thing and I'm doing this like hip out thing that she is always telling me not to do. And I think that you know, after you have a baby, sometimes it can be hard to really want to like look at the new body that you have been given after that experience. And it was tough for me to maybe love my body enough to start investing in it again, other than having an appreciation for what it could do for my daughter. And I think that Cheri really encouraged me to be more patient with myself and my healing, and to give myself more access to trusting that I will get back to maybe not the same place I was before I had my daughter, but it might even be a stronger, more aware place than I was before I had my daughter. I would say Dr. Cheri is both, but I would say she's mostly funny. She's very silly. She looks very intimidating when you meet her because she's so like strong and you're just like, oh, you could take me. But then you actually get to know her and she's really soft and squishy on the inside. Yeah. Oh, the staff has been so lovely at HealthFit. Honestly, you guys feel so familial. I mean, every time I come in, I don't even think you and I have like had like a one-on-one conversation, but it's always so lovely. The rapport is so great. The front desk, you know, I'll call them and I'll be like, oh, I forgot that I had red light therapy today. And they're like, it's okay, love. You know, it really feels like you guys have created a safe space for each other and for your clientele, which is a really comforting environment to come into. Continuing to figure out all of this physically. And I think continuing to invest in my body and like my art, and probably being a mom. You know, I know we want to try to have another, so I think that that will probably be in the near future, and I'll feel much more confident going into that pregnancy, knowing the kind of team I have behind me this time around. I would absolutely recommend HealthFit to others, primarily because of the accountability that this place creates for yourself. The kindness that you experience when you walk through the doors, the warmth of the staff, and honestly just the knowledge of the therapist. You know, I think Dr. Cheri has taught me a lot about perseverance and trusting that I can find myself physically again.
Hey, if you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification for our latest tips coming to you every week. Share this video with your family and friends. It might just make their day a little bit better. I'll see you soon.